we're going to get there. All right. Yes, we look live. So now I'm going to go ahead and record. Excellent. All right. Well, welcome everyone. It is the first Monday of October. So it's the first Monday of the fourth quarter of 2025. It is October 6th at 1 p.m. Central. Welcome. Hopefully, I got rid of all of the AI bots. If there are any of you AI bots still there, please identify yourselves so I can kick you out. But beyond that, no worries. All right, so we're going to do things a little bit differently today, is my plan. I posted about it in the AI SEO mastery group. I thought rather than go through just a general Q&A where everyone can ask whatever questions they want, which if you guys like that, we can do that again for the next one of these sessions. I thought it might be interesting instead if we did a handful of deep dives. Is there like a mass mute everyone, but mute all? Click. Excellent. Okay, so I just muted everyone. Excellent. So, and I'll unmute you if you raise your hand when it's your turn. We'll get through that as we get there. But anyway, so I thought that it might be more interesting if instead of doing a bunch of Q&As all over the place, ask Caleb whatever you want. If instead of that we did a series of deep dives. So the most equitable way to do that, as I posted in the group, is we have about 90 minutes, maybe 100 minutes or so. So I figured I'd give 10 minutes or so per person to the first 10 people who tried to join. And I did make note of who those people were. And my plan is to just go through them in order. I'll hit through 10 people. If the people I wrote down initially aren't here, feel free to put your hand up. If we have extra time, I'll start working through the people with their hand up. Maybe it takes less than 10 minutes and then we'll go on. So if you have something that you like, a question that you really want answered, put your hand up. No promises that we'll get to you. That's not the focus. We're not doing an overall Q&A. But when it's your turn, and Mark, you're on the list of 10, so you don't need to put your hand up. Yeah. Sarah, you're not on the list of 10, so you can keep your hand up. Perfect. And John R., you are on the list of 10, so you're golden. So the plan is when it's one of the 10, I'm going to unmute you, and then we can have a conversation for 10 minutes about an SEO topic that you want. We can do a dive on your website. You can ask questions. You can ask me about my dog's name if you want. I think I said that in the post. Whatever you want to talk about for about 10 minutes. And once that 10 minutes is up, we'll move on to the next person. Is there a timer function built into Windows? There should be, right? It would be kind of ridiculous if there weren't. There is. Excellent. So I have my 10-minute timer ready here in the background. And we'll just go through and we'll see how this feels. And if you guys hate it and this is the worst thing imaginable, let me know in the group and then we won't do it again. And if you think this is incredible and valuable and useful, let me know in the group and then maybe we'll do it again, right? I'm just trying something new. I thought this might be more interesting than a straight up Q&A. But if not, then not, right? We'll figure it out. So let's start. I'm not going to give the whole list straight away, but the first person who joined, and this poor individual joined about 10 times because I kept closing Zoom and opening Zoom and trying to figure it out, is Mr. Peter Ball. Is Peter still here? There's Peter. So I can unmute Peter. Can I unmute Peter?
Yeah, I think you did.
There, Peter's unmuted. All right, man. What you got for me? Let's start. I'm going to hit the timer.
My video feed is off because I'm at work, so
no problem. No problem.
I'd like you to have a look at my website, specifically the home page and one other page. What I'm struggling with is the long form content. I'm going back and forth with the developer to try and get, it's not the actual content I'm concerned about, it's the layout so that it makes sense.
Okay. Layout is a Market Suite. You're on the 10. So go ahead, give me your URL or
It,
share screen, whichever you prefer.
I'll give you the URL. If I can just say it, that'd be great because I'm on a phone.
Okay.
It's
We'll
it's
try
clearpathwebdesign.com.
Clear Path. So this
Yeah,
is Waterloo Website Design. That's the
that's
website.
that's right. Yeah. Mhm.
Excellent. So let me share. So we're all looking at it. Everyone can see, hopefully. Cool. Yes. All right. Okay.
So what happened?
And go ahead,
What
Peter.
what happened was I hired a dev to create a custom Elementor uh, site, and it came all he I think modeled it after templates or whatever because it's all chopped up, and the headings make no SEO sense. The content is seems to be all choppy. So before I go back to him, I just like to get a sense of what you think about it. The other page to look at is the internet marketing page. The site structure is not correct, but he did the internet marketing page quite differently in that there were blocks of text.
All right. So this is the phone number, right?
Well, it's just a dummy phone number
That's
right
a
now.
okay, because I'm
Yeah.
assuming your address really isn't 1234
No,
Malibu Street, California. That's a hell of an
not at
address.
all. All of this is just dummy stuff. So yeah.
No problem. Okay. So the way that that I look at a website for the first time, I'll review this one just like I would review any website that I looked at for the first time. The first thing I'm almost always going to check is the title tag. So you have Waterloo website design. Now, I do not think website design is a Google business category. Let me see if I can verify Google business category list. Because I don't think that is a category. So usually we want the primary category in the title tag. Website designer is a category. So I'm guessing you're going to use website designer or something similar to that. So that's
That's right.
that's
Yeah.
the first one is we just want to make sure that we're actually matching the primary category in the title tag. Now, you are hitting the primary category in the H1, website designer. So that's a thumbs up. We got the city name here. So you could tell me, hey, Caleb, you told me I don't need to match the exact primary category in the title tag if I have it in the H1 and I'm retheming it. And I'd be like, sure, Peter, that makes sense. This looks like you're retheming website designer to website design. If that's what you're doing, no problem.
No, I'm not. It's just an oversight in terms of the
No
title tag.
problem.
Yep.
So then the other things that I quickly look for is a GBP embed. There obviously isn't one, but this is a dummy. So maybe that's something that you'll add right here. The GBP embed is usually super easy to do. Google provides the embed code.
Yeah, there's no
Um,
GBP at this point.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
you'll
have
need a
one. Yeah.
GBP, right? The
Yeah,
When
for
we talk
sure.
about local SEO, really what we're trying to do is rank the GBP higher. That's our one
Yeah.
and only goal. So
Yeah.
we definitely want to make sure that we have a GBP and we want to do the embed. I am impressed. I did not expect for a dummy site, I did not expect to see local business schema. So that's exciting to see. Obviously, these same as, you're going to want to make sure that you actually put the URL. Again, you may not have them because this is a dummy, but just same as Facebook, what you're basically doing is telling Google and ChatGPT that your website is the same as Facebook. And obviously, sorry, Peter, you're not Mark Zuckerberg. This is not the same as Facebook.
Yeah.
So you're definitely going to want to put the actual link to the Facebook profile here, not just the general Facebook.
Yeah.
I'd also love to see more services on here. Generally, for this local business schema, I'm going to put all of the service schema that you have on the website under that local business schema. The review schema, not super critical. I'd love to see organization schema, website schema, but overall, local business schema, that's pretty good. But you asked very specifically about the design of the site. And I don't really have any issues with the design. I think the design is fine. Like I'm not a website designer, but I think this would be fine. I might prefer to see like a form fill or something above the fold. I also So typically when we're looking at websites, right, we have the title tag, which is critically important. We have the H1, which is critically important. The other couple of factors that I talked about, but below the H1 or in the first paragraph of text, the real focus needs to be on goal completion as quickly as possible. So when I say that, what I mean is we want to have the first bit of paragraph content incredibly laser focused on creating the conversion action, the goal action that you want someone to do when they land on your website. Okay. So
Right.
that's what I would say here. I mean, obviously, it doesn't look like the content is done yet. And obviously, it's not done here yet either. But that's part of what I would think about is, if you have three sentences to convert someone who landed on your page because they searched for website designer, what would you say to them in those three sentences? And that's really the way to think about the first non-heading content on the website. Beyond that, right? So when we think about the subheadings, and I know there are a bunch of secondary categories that Google has that are really close to website designer, right? There's a lot of online digital marketing type categories.
Right.
So you can have this one, you can have something like this that again talks to the person who lands on it. You can have something this that talks to the person who lands on it, no problem. I don't mind something like this, but at some point, maybe here, maybe later, at some point, we need to start focusing our subheadings on the secondary categories. And we want to use the exact match secondary categories on the GBP to make sure Google knows that this website it matches the GBP, right? That everything matches, everything agrees with each other. So we have the same subheadings and the same core services mentioned on the website that are on the GBP. And you do have
Okay.
Internet Marketing Services Waterloo. So yeah, maybe something like this is where you start to do it. So this is, I mean, without like a list of your planned secondary categories and services in front of me,
Right.
it's tough to know for sure. But like, I don't see anything terrible about this. Like, what makes you worried about it?
Well, if you look at the internet, well, because the content is all chopped up. So if you look at the internet marketing page, he's done quite a different job there in terms of having blocks of text.
Yeah, so what we would do here is obviously you'd have a block of text, 50 to 75 words, and you would have a link over to this internet marketing deeper page. That's how we structure the core 30, right? This is a
Right.
secondary category page. We're going to have a link to it from the GBP. And what you mean when you say chopped up, you mean this is just longer content?
Well, I meant really at the beginning of the page where you pointed out those three sentences. We've got the on the homepage the title, the heading, and then the content that I'd given him is just divided between those first two sentences, and then in the
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like starting here with this phrase and then finishing it
yeah,
down here. I mean,
yeah,
that's just bad, right?
it,
Like,
it
I'm
is, yeah.
assuming that that's going to be fixed. That's a clear error.
Well, I had given him the error is, yeah, I'm going back to him and saying this is not what I wanted. And so really, if you're saying that the layout is fine, it's just a matter of putting the text in the right place, then what I've said to him is I think it needs to be redesigned so that the blocks of text look more like the internet marketing page, that they make sense, that
I
I can
don't
put.
stress too much about website design,
Okay,
honestly. Like the design is fine. I mean, it's not like the best looking website I've ever seen, and I've also seen a lot of websites that look a lot worse.
right. Okay.
I mean, I would just, we have to make sure that the content actually makes sense. If you want
Yeah.
more stuff here, then that's fine. But I probably wouldn't start with a story about yourself,
No,
right?
right.
People don't like people love talking about themselves, thinking about themselves. So you want to make the first like, hey, this is why you should contact me about the person who just landed here and not about you, right?
Yeah.
Like this
Hmm.
story about why you started it, great, but I would put that lower and I would start here by, goal completion. Why should they contact you?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's great. Thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate your
Absolutely. Well,
help.
hey,
Yeah.
perfect timing. There's the 10-minute timer. So let's go on to the second person. If I can figure out how to stop the timer. Now it's just oh, dismiss. I found it. I found the box. Don't worry. All right. So second one, Ryan, Mr. Ryan Stevens. Let me see if Ryan is here. Why can't I just find a list of? And the problem is Ryan can't say anything because he's muted. Oh, there's Ryan. I found him. Unmute. All right, Ryan. What you got, man?
Hey, thanks, Caleb. Man, I'm brand new to your school community. This is my very first ever Zoom, so I'm
Hey,
excited
well,
to learn
good
from you.
timing getting in there number two.
Yeah. Man, I have a really just I don't want to take too much time because there's others here. I'm growing and learning, so I want to let others talk. I have just a quick question.
Let's
Um,
do it.
we had an SEO guy that I let go a year ago when I started learning and taking all this over. And he did the super old school sketchy SEO where he deployed like hundreds of location pages on our website.
Gotcha.
Um,
Sure.
each page is like best roofer, Keller, Texas, roof inspection, Keller, Texas, like, and it's for like 20 different cities and tons of keywords. What is the best way to go about dealing with the old work that was done so that I can avoid should I be worried about that cannibalizing the work that I'm going to do ahead in the future with learning from you? Should I delete those pages? Should I de-index those pages? Like, what's the right thing to do with all those old? Some of them rank, some of them don't. It's kind of a mess. I think that's my question.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So when we take over and when a new client comes to us, we take over their website. Very rarely is it set up everything perfect and happy, right? Most of the time, we come and take over a website and it's a bit of a mess. Um, so the first thing, all of those city type pages, what you just described, Google basically rolled out an update in August to try and reduce the number of those city pages that were in its index because Google thought those pages counted as spam, which it pretty much does, to be honest.
For sure.
One massive impact of that, Angie's List, other companies like that were basically selling leads to contractors, and their plan for ranking for getting those leads was getting those city pages higher on the organic. They got decimated. I have multiple clients who used to buy leads from Yelp, from Angie's List, from Thumbtack, from Bark, from a lot of different companies that were following that type of approach. And the number of leads that they were buying, they used to blow through their entire budget in a week and a half to 2 weeks. Now they're going through the whole month and consuming maybe a third of their total budget. Angie's just isn't getting any leads anymore because Google updated those city pages and crushed them. Okay. So the approach that we take, first of all, is we're always going to run a rank map first, right? So you talked about cannibalization. Whenever somebody says something like that, I always have to immediately stop them and say, there is no concern of cannibalization. There's no concern for duplicate content because we're not trying to rank individual URLs. Everything that we're trying to do is provide topical and geographical relevance to the GBP to get it to rank farther and farther away from the GBP address. So there's no cannibalization concerns because we're not ranking individual URLs. We're ranking the GBP. So the first step is run a GBP rank map, right? What does that rank map look like? Is it a mess or does it look pretty good? And that obviously is going to determine a lot of our path forward. If it's a mess, and when I say mess, that is typically we're seeing 20 plus, very, very close to the GBP address, and then it doesn't really get better than that. Like I have looked at multiple GBPs where there's one that I was just looking at yesterday, and they're trying to rank for Austin Tour, right? This is not a competitive keyword. Of the top three ranked GBPs for Austin Tours, two of them don't have websites. Okay, this is how low the competition is. But this particular website, he has 350 indexed URLs, and he is ranked 20th in his lobby. And he doesn't get better. It's 20 plus everywhere. So this is obviously a disaster. The website is a mess. So then it's just like, okay, go into the Search Console. And the important thing that you're looking for in the Search Console for local is the index report. So if you go in and look at the index report, Google will tell you, here are all the URLs I've indexed, which is great, and you can feel happy about yourself. But what's most important is Google will tell you, here are all the URLs I don't have indexed. And critically, Google will tell you why it hasn't indexed those particular URLs. Okay. And most of the categories you don't need to worry about too much. The rule of thumb we use is we want to have usually more indexed URLs than not indexed. So if you have 100 indexed URLs and 80 not indexed, you're probably okay, right? We don't really worry about crawl budgets and things like that until we get into the thousands and thousands of URLs. So local business websites don't really worry about that, with the exceptions of two categories I'm going to hit on. It's discovered, not crawled. And that's a bad one. That's Google saying, "Hey, we know that URL exists, but I'm not going to crawl it. I don't think it's worth it. I'm not going to crawl it. I'm not going to look at that URL." That one's pretty bad, but it's not as bad as the worst one. The worst category is crawled, not indexed. Okay, that is Googlebot saying, "I found the URL, I looked at the URL, and I have decided that it is of so low value that no one who ever uses Google ever will ever find value in it. So I'm never going to show it to anybody." Okay. So look into your Google index and see how many you have in discovered, not crawled, and crawled, not indexed. If those are big numbers, then basically anything in those categories needs to be deleted, needs to be no index, needs to be improved. You need to add images to it. You need to improve that content in some form to convince Google, to show Google that it's actually valuable, so it starts to go through and index them. And that's something that we'll do for pretty much any client, right? And if it's indexed, if it's ranking, well, we'll usually leave it alone, right? Because if it's ranking, especially for non-branded terms, if ranking for branded terms, who cares, right? Any idiot can rank for branded terms. That's not an impressive feat, right? That'd be like, "Oh, look at how good I am at SEO. I ranked this client for snow removal Miami." Like, okay, good for you. That's great. Ranking for branded terms is not impressive. So if it's ranking and getting traffic for non-branded terms, then I would leave it alone. That's Google saying, "I trust this website enough to send my users over to it." So if it's ranking, I usually don't touch it. If it's not ranking, then I consider, okay, maybe we need to combine, to merge, to prune. And if it is discovered, not crawled, or especially if it's crawled, not indexed, that's where we're going to start to get really aggressive in terms of deleting, no indexing, getting rid of stuff. But starting, of course, with the local rank map. If the local rank map looks pretty good, I'm going to be a lot more judicious in terms of deleting content, right? So when I say pretty good, so if they're in the top 3 right on their main dot, like right on the address, and then maybe they're in the top 3 a mile or 2 away, and then it turns yellow, turns 4, 5, 6, then 7, 8, 9, then we're maybe like 7 or 8 miles away and we're in the 15, and then it finally turns red if we're 10 miles away. That's a pretty good rank map. That's a rank map that, like, when somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, I need help with SEO," and I look at the rank map and it looks like that, I'm throwing a little party for myself, because that's something that we can just crush. Google already trusts it, knows that they do that service. We just need to provide a little bit more relevance, a little bit more trust, and it's going to be amazing. If that's what your rank map looks like, again, you can go through the index, delete the crawled, not indexed, stuff like that. But really, it's just, man, blow and go, core 30, find those local trust links. You're going to be golden. So it really depends where you're starting from, how much does Google hate your website, what does your current rank map look like, to decide, what do we want to do as the path forward. Am I making sense, Ryan?
Yeah, and I just checked while you were talking too. We have 443 indexed pages. We have 23 that are crawled, not indexed. So 443 indexed, 23 crawled, not indexed. We have 92 that are discovered, currently not indexed. And I think
those are big numbers, right?
Yeah.
Like, generally discovered and crawled, not indexed. I like to see those as less than 5% of the index total. So especially your discovered, not indexed, and your crawled, not indexed, those are a pretty interesting sign that if I'm looking at that, Google thinks your website is full of spam.
So get rid of that stuff and work on
if there are already these
alone and work on the new stuff
like
going forward.
spammy city pages that we know Google hates because they literally just did an algorithm update and they're calling it those two categories, I
Yep.
would that my first step would be I'm deleting that shit. Like I'm getting rid of it, and then I'm gonna start working on the rest of the website.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Caleb.
Awesome. Cool. Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Ryan. So let's see. Gary McGill, Mr. Gary. Hey, there you are. I'm gonna hit ask to unmute. How you doing, Gary? What you got?
How's it going? I've had a website that has been going downhill for quite some time, and I've been trying to figure out why.
Okay.
And part of the problem is that I think that I keep on changing stuff. So I
Google
just
does
wanted,
hate change.
it does. So I'm just trying to get it to a point where I can just leave it kind of and let it do its thing, but I don't think that I don't think that my changes that I did were very positive. Here's the
Okay.
Here's the website. I'll put it in the chat.
Oh, excellent. There it is. Castle
Um,
Rock Plumbing.
but then, what was it called? Probably in on September, I was ranking for 34 keywords, had two or three in the top 10, and before that it was a little bit better, but it's just been going downhill ever since. Um, I added one of the bigger updates I did was I added the pillar pages for like gas installation service for my to match my GBPs. Um, so yeah, I just added up some content and stuff and just been trying to figure out how to get a better ranking without touching it too much.
Castle Rock. Oh, so you just have a generic business name. You're in Castle Rock, Colorado.
Mhm.
All right. How's Castle Rock? Is that a nice place?
It's beautiful.
I imagine it is. It's in Colorado. Isn't everywhere in Colorado beautiful?
Mostly, yes.
Yeah. All right. I'm trying to locate the GBP here. There it is. I just found it. Excellent. Um, all right. So I'll hit run scan. Let's take a look. I will share. Is it this one? Yes. All right. Cool. All right. So here's your website. I don't know why I lost the word website. No problem. Plumber Castle Rock. Very cool. So you got your primary category and city name in the title tag, and the H1. Hey, Plumber Castle Rock. We got it again. Perfect. I checked schema. You got your plumber. You got breadcrumb website FAQ. Great. Underneath here, yep, you have your profiles, address. You have the area served, opening. Yeah, this looks pretty good. You have all of your services. Man, okay, we're golden here. This is a good looking schema, man.
That I did
FAQ.
that like a week ago. It has not been like that.
Oh well, hey, it looks great. So
Okay.
and schema is one of those things. It's good to do. It doesn't take long to do it. You should always do it. But it also like it's not like a huge needle mover, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
It's more important for the AI systems than it is for Google. And when I say AI systems, I guess I mean very specifically ChatGPT. Google's AI overview weirdly seems to just ignore it. But anyway, all right.
Hmm.
So we have some services here. We got call to action. Okay, here we have some links. Nope, telephone. Okay, so this is a link over to another service page. Get quote. These look like AI generated. This looks. Are these AI generated? They look AI generated.
Some of them, yes.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
And when you use the AI generated images, you remove the from the metadata. You remove the AI, right?
Some of them they're not AI, some of them are stock photos that I
Okay. So don't use stock photos on websites because Google knows they're stock photos, right? Remember that Google has the reverse image search. So if you use a stock photo, Google knows it's a stock photo because with its reverse image search technology, it can detect that it's a stock photo or appears on stock photo websites. So that's one of the first things I would do. If you have
okay.
any stock photos, just get rid of it. Like don't use stock photos.
Can I no index the stock photo or that won't work?
Well, so the way that Google works, right, is the Google mobile bot is going to crawl the website and render it in the most recent version of Chrome. Obviously, you can no index the whole page, but I don't think you'd want to do that. I don't know if you can no index an individual photo or not. I mean,
Okay.
that seems
Well,
like
at
more
least on the
work than
CSM
just
that I use,
having
you can.
AI generate a replacement image to me.
Okay.
But when you do have AI generate an image, most AI image generators is going to put the fact that it was generated by AI in the metadata. So what you
I
want to do is
geotag
have
all of
AI
them and
generate the
change
image,
it.
then screenshot the image, and then use that screenshot as the version you upload, not the actual one that AI generated. That'll clear out the metadata.
Okay.
Um, a lovely FAQ. So where did the FAQ come from? PAA?
PIAAs, some of them that I have been coming across recently.
Yeah. So another good source for FAQ type questions, there's a prompt in the Modern SEO classroom that will have ChatGPT or Claude basically find questions that people are actually using or actually asking in Reddit or other local forums. The PAA questions are great, don't get me wrong, but we found that they're less effective than they used to be because so many mediocre SEOs are just grabbing the PAAs and running with it. So just grabbing
Okay.
some of those questions from Reddit, we know Google loves Reddit, can also be helpful. Ooh, this is brutal. Boy, that's a brutal rank map.
Yep.
All right, so we'll just check how big this site is. We have 31. Okay. And then I can visit the website for, that's not what I want. What I like to do, I like to sort it by top three. And then I will visit the web. This is Lead Snap, by the way. You can use whatever tool you want. This is the one we use. Oh, wow. This guy doesn't even have a website. He's just a GBP, no problem. And he's just a GBP. All right. So the winner,
Yeah, because before I mean, my
134.
client was getting about 30 calls, 50 calls from this site about 2 months ago, and it's been just going downhill ever since.
And he has 251. So the two that have websites that are ranked ahead of you have much larger websites than you have. And honestly, when I look at the size of your website, 31 is pretty small for a plumber. Plumber is usually a pretty competitive space. Um, yeah, you can see keyword difficulty. I hate keyword difficulty, but we're sitting at 44. If I ran something like, if I ran one for plumber Castle Rock, it should pull it up again. Can I remember? Ugh. So the good news is, right, with the rank map, the way it looked, you do have some topical relevance with Google. That's the one. You do have
That's
some
it, yeah.
topical relevance.
Okay.
It's not 20s everywhere, right? And I hate doing competitor analysis, competitor comparison. And the reason for that, I just showed you, right? Of the top three, two of them don't even have websites attached to them, right? How
Mhm.
terrible is that? So the how can we, if they don't even have websites attached, how can we decide what to possibly do to outrank them? And what I said earlier about goal completion is one of the reasons that happens, right? When you're ranking in the top three, there's a lot of positive momentum behind keeping that rank position. So what I mean by that is if you show up in the top three and you answer the phone and people don't call other plumbers, right? So goal completion for local business, what that means, Google user calls the number, you answer the damn phone, which is such a challenge for so many business owners. You answer the phone and you provide good customer service so they don't call a different GBP, right? If they have to call the second place GBP or the third place GBP or all of the other places of GBP, that's bad goal completion. That's a signal to Google that you did not help them with their query. But if you always do that, right? If you consistently provide good goal completion, that is like more powerful than any SEO metrics that we could ever look at. So one of the reasons we don't do competitor analysis, or at least like deep competitor analysis, is the thing that's most important to Google, goal completion, is something that we have no line of sight at. I can't look at these top websites and decide if they have good goal completion, what their missed call rate is, what their bounce rate is, all of these other aspects that I can't see. So because I can't see it, how can I do competitive research on it, right? So if I'm looking at a rank map like this, and even indeed the worst looking one that I ran first, my path forward, especially with a website that has 30 URLs on it, I'm going to start building topical relevance with the core 30, right? I'm going to make sure that your GBP has a solid primary category, solid secondary categories, solid services, and then I'm going to build out a core 30 that mimics that GBP structure, gets the website size up. I'm going to have that internal linking. I'm going to source external links to the new pages. I'm going to make sure I'm a member of the local chamber of commerce. Honestly, like this name of the business feels very spammy. It feels like a rank and rent. I don't know if it is or not, but it feels like one. Google does not like rank and rent. I know that having the target keywords and the GBP name does typically result in it being easier to rank, but that doesn't mean having truly generic names like this is best, right? If this were a brand name and then something like Plumbing Castle Rock, it might be a little bit better. As is, this just feels so much like rank and rent. And that's fine, right? You can rank and rent, but that's where it's just like, okay, let's go through and, let's join the local chamber of commerce. Let's find local charities, local events that are looking for sponsorship. Let's sponsor those. We'll get backlinks from them. I'm guessing your GBP has a visible address. It does not. You don't have a visible address. Is that right?
Yeah, the client just changed the address to a physical one. That's part of why I think that it's been doing so terribly recently.
They just added the visible address.
Yes.
Yeah, so that will almost always result in a bump in ranking, adding a visible address. I still don't see it on the websites or on the GBP, so it
Yeah,
might not have
it's
gone
still
through. It
pending.
might
That's
not
what I was
be
trying. Yeah, it's still
fully.
pending.
Yeah, it's still pending. Exactly. So when that goes through and you have a visible address, I would expect this rank map to get better. Like, honestly, this isn't a terrible rank map given the size of the website, given that it's a service area business, and given that you're in a competitive space like plumbing. Like, this doesn't make me super sad. My path forward on that, try to get the website visible, build up those local trust links. There's a prompt in the Modern SEO group, in the Modern SEO training rather, that has ChatGPT or Claude, whatever your AI tool of choice, that has it go through and try to find those local charities, local events. I have a client in Austin, and I ran the prompt, and the damn thing, it found that the University of Texas in Austin was looking for sponsors for a TEDx event, and $250 was the minimum sponsorship. And for your $250, you got a link thanking you for sponsoring the local TEDx talk. That's $250 for a link from the University of Texas at Austin.edu website for a business in Austin, plus the business owner got to go to the TEDx talk. I mean, that link is worth thousands from a pure SEO standpoint, and they're giving it out for a $250 sponsorship. So find those local high trust links, join the Chamber of Commerce if you're not in there, start working on the core 30. This rank map, I like the rank map. This is the type of rank map I like to see when someone comes and asks for help. Don't like bang your head against the wall trying to figure out what your competitors are doing. That's just a waste of time. Just build the relevance, build the trust, and you'll be able to get this turned around. Google does not hate your website, right? There's not a single 20 in that. Well, okay, there's 120. There's 120 in that 13 by 13 grid, which covers 400 square kilometers. I don't know why it's kilometers, but it covers 400 square kilometers. You have 120. That's pretty good. That's not bad. Okay, that's a solid starting point for an SEO engagement.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Hopefully that was helpful, Gary. All right. Let's see if we can find Josh Crane. Let me see. Just looking for Josh. Looking, looking for Josh. Does everybody like my song? I'm just looking for Josh. I don't see him. I'm here, he says. Oh, there he is. Asked to unmute. Hey, Josh, what you got for me, man?
Hey Caleb, how's it going? I just joined your class yesterday.
Awesome. Good timing. Great to have you.
I'm also in Castle Rock. I'm trying to rank my wife's website. It's called South Denver Therapy. We're ranking one for marriage counseling, but now I need to try to rank better in cities I'm not located in.
Okay. That's always a challenge. What's the domain?
South Denver Therapy, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay. How close to Denver is Castle Rock?
It's about 40 minutes or so.
40 minutes. All right. So here, I'll share my screen so you can see. So the first thing I'm almost always going to do, right, is I want to try to find your GBP. So I'm going to find your phone number somewhere on your website. Here it is. And I'm going to just search for that phone number. And your GBP should come up, and it did. That's excellent. You would be perhaps not surprised to find out how common it is for the GBP to not be a result when I search for the phone number. That's always a mess. But okay, so we found your GBP, South Denver Therapy. Let's go ahead and see what it looks like. New heat map, South Denver Therapy. See if we can find it. I believe it's that one, right?
Yeah, we have two.
There it is. And your title tag is about marriage counseling. So is that the primary keyword?
Yeah, but now she also wants to add additional services where she's hiring additional therapists.
So the near me is typically more competitive than the city name. So that's why I'm running the near me search here. And especially since Castle Rock, I get the idea that it's not a huge city. Castle Rock population. Okay, 83,000. So it's pretty decent sized. So if I ran, so your question was, how do I rank in towns nearby me? So that's why I'm running a near me search. For a new client, something that we're looking at for a new website, I'm almost always going to start with marriage counseling Castle Rock. But I'm not in this case just because you asked that very specific question of, wanting to rank in other cities nearby. So it's always hard to do that, right? Google has a massive bias toward the city that's on your GBP. And when a searcher is not in the same city as your GBP, it's always going to be difficult to rank there. So one way that we check, like, hey, can I rank in other cities, is just going to be, what are your competitors doing? If that makes sense, right? Boy, this doesn't usually take this long. So we'll just, instead of continuing to wait, let's just see what we look like from a schema standpoint. I'm surprised. I haven't found anybody with no schema yet, and zero errors, zero warnings. It's pretty. So this is not bad. Okay, hold on. This is a bit longer. All right, so this is pretty good. We got all of our services. All right. We got some good looking schema, organization, website, web page. All right, fine. Are you done yet? You're not done. Okay. So what is your primary category? Mental health clinic. So what other top keyword are we trying to rank for?
EMDR therapy.
Say it again. I didn't catch that.
DR.
ER.
EMDR. I'll put it in the chat. EMDR.
EMDR.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. I don't even know what that is. Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. Okay. All right. So obviously we don't have the H1 tag matching the GBP primary category. I can see why you didn't, because the primary category of mental health clinic, I can see why you wouldn't want to put that there. That would probably be bad for conversions. Do you have two locations?
Yes.
Do they both use your homepage as the landing page?
They both use the. What do you mean?
Yeah, no worries. So let me see if I can find the other GBP. So this GBP is using your homepage as the landing page. Yes, yes. And this GBP, I don't see a GBP here. Do you have a GBP for the second location?
Yeah, there is two. They both use the
Is,
home.
is this the right phone number for the second location?
Uh, yeah, no, they both have the same phone number now because
Okay, so GBPs should never have the same phone number, and you do have unique phone numbers on your homepage here. We want to make sure that the phone numbers on your homepage, especially with two locations, matches the phone numbers on the GBP.
okay.
Is the name of the other one?
They both have the
Is,
same exact name.
all right, let's see. Okay,
Yeah,
so okay, this must be the second one with the EMDR.
right.
And this is using the same landing page. Okay. So there's a couple of things. This is still taking, come on, this doesn't usually take that long. All right, so what I want to do, I want to run another one. I want a new one, and I want to try to find your other location here. Not that one. That's the one that we're already doing, Castle Rock, Colorado. And I want the other one, which has this building. Let me see if I can find it. Is it this one, right? 18 reviews. 18 reviews. Yep, golden. That's the one. And I'm going to run, let's try EMDR therapy. And I won't even do it near me. We'll just run EMDR therapy. Run. Are you going yet? You're not going yet. Are you going yet? You're not going yet. Okay. So, based on the GBPs, am I right if I say that this GBP is more focused on EMDR therapy and this GBP is more focused on marriage counseling?
It's actually switched.
It's
Yeah.
no
The
problem.
other one should be marriage counseling. The other one should be NDR.
No problem. And they both are, let me close you. They both are, oh, this one is just counselor. The other one is mental health clinic, and this one is counselor. So the primary categories don't match, but that's fine. Well, this is frustrating. All right. So depending on what the rank maps look like, the good news is that having two different GBPs for the two different categories, two different primary services, that's a good sign, right? Because that means we can take one GBP and focus that one on the EMDR therapy, and the other GBP we can focus on targeting marriage counseling. So we can sort of take that approach, and each GBP can target its own service. To do that properly, each GBP would have its own landing page. So one of the reasons I'm trying to get these rank maps to run, changing a GBP landing page is a big change and will almost always result in a loss of ranking. So the question that I'm trying to answer by running these rank maps is, what is my potential loss if I lose current ranking? And if the current ranking is terrible, the potential loss is pretty bad or pretty low, right? I can't lose very much if I'm not ranking. So in that case, I'm really just gonna try to change the GBP landing page, have separate GBP landing pages for each, and target one toward EMDR therapy and one toward marriage counseling. If that's not the case, if I can't make that shift, I'm definitely at the very least going to make sure that the two GBPs have their unique phone numbers. We don't want to repeat phone numbers. And we always want to use separate landing pages for different GBPs also. But again, I'm not going to move the landing page if I'm ranking already. So in that case, what I would do is I would leave the title tag and the H1 tag where it is, because if you're ranking, those are things we don't want to change. And what I would do is focus on adding, because you have EMDR therapy on the homepage. Let me share again. You have it on the homepage here. But this is pretty, like, it's just a little blurb on top of all of these other things, just inside all of the different services. So if that's a core service that I would really want to focus on, then I would, and you have best inventory. So I would probably want to add above this long blurb, I would want to add a subheading focused on EMDR therapy and maybe expand this topic a little bit, talking about EMDR therapy as its own little blurb here. Definitely make sure the phone numbers match. Your phone numbers don't match. And then, yeah, even if I look at the schema, now knowing that you have two local businesses pointing to this homepage, you do have the two 8046. Okay, so the phone numbers there are the same. Are these the same 6th Street? And okay, so these are the two separate locations. So that's fine. That's the right way to do it. Not ideal, but it's the right way to do it. Just again, don't use the same phone number. You can always forward from one to the other. I'm guessing when you updated the phone number, you just missed this update. There we go. All right, so we got it. At least this one we got. Yeah, so this isn't great. I'm guessing that your actual location is around here somewhere. I'm surprised that you're not ranking better there. I wish this one would run. Is this the right one that's targeting?
The other one ranks a lot better. That one targets EMDR therapy. That one right there.
Oh, so I ran this for marriage counseling, but this is the wrong GBP. This is just GBP I should have run for the eye therapy. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So that's the approach that I would take with this. And then, as we just basically build out the core 30, you already have the link to the EMDR therapy. Yeah, and this is a pretty good page. It's detailed, it's deep. I would just not bury this in this section. I would make it its own section and then just build out more and more topical relevance around EMDR therapy. It would be better if it had its own GBP landing page. Again, sadly this is taking too long for me to be able to run that and see what it looks like for that. But that's the approach that I would take. Does that make sense, Josh?
Yeah, it's very helpful. Thank you.
Awesome. Good. All right. So that was the timer. We got marketsuite.io. I'll hit unmute on you, Market Suite. Let's see. Are you there, Market Suite? Fine.
Hey, Caleb. How are you?
There you go. All right, cool. What's your name? I'm guessing it's
John.
not actually Market Suite.
No, it's John.
John. All right, John, what you got for me?
So actually, I just put some things in the notes for the last person also. Their office hours are discrepant in the two GBPs, and you got 15 H1 tags, so Google hates when you do that.
Yeah, I didn't even look at that. So the actual tag is less important than it used to be, because remember, Googlebot is now crawling. Googlebot is crawling and rendering all of the websites it sees on the most recent mobile version of Chrome. So the actual tag code is less important than it used to be. But yeah, like just to clean it up, I would agree not to put a bunch of H1 tags. Yeah,
It's
I would
also
agree.
important if you're looking beyond the Google scope as well. Things like Bing and also the LLMs are still more along the original hierarchy of having one H1 and then as many H2s, H3s, et cetera, as long as it's in logical order.
Nope, I agree that we should try to keep to just one. But yeah, for Google, it's not important like it used to be. But what you got for me, John?
I've got so I'm focused on hyper-local service-based businesses in Northern Virginia. And I've got one example that I'll punch in here in just a second. Boom, there's the link to it. And so in our geography, there is a large number of a lot of populated suburban areas around the Northern Virginia Metro DC area.
Sure. Yep.
And so within that, I'm trying to figure out, based off of your core 30 principles, where do you draw the line on making service area pages? And also my other question, having gone through your the basic school class, was the idea around your primary category being the main H1 focus on the homepage. And I was curious as to how that correlates to other services that you're looking for, and should it shift for something like an HVAC company where you've got a primary focus during the summer months or the warmer months for air conditioning, and then shift it for catered more toward heating during the colder months.
Yeah, I've had that question before, especially for HVAC contractors. I'll get this running in the background. We'll see if it'll run at a reasonable pace, unlike the other time we tried. Okay, so let's start with where you want to start. So I'm looking at your site here, and I can pull it up. So I know this is not a huge thing. So we tested this a lot. Animated hero images typically dramatically underperform static hero images. I don't know if you've tested this and for your market, this works really well. If so, great. That's awesome. I'm just letting you know, in my experience, animated hero images typically don't perform. We usually, almost always, just keep these as static images. We see a much better performance from a conversion standpoint versus these animated ones. Small
Okay.
detail, that's not what you asked about.
But no, that's good insight. I'm always looking to learn the little nuances to add to the arsenal. And also, by the way, to bring up one subject and just sort of go back to what you were talking about before in terms of static images or AI generated images. Another thing that a lot of people fail to do is they'll either use JPEG or PNG images, which classically don't load well in websites, and you can actually use a tool like FFmpeg or something like that to convert it into a WebP.
Yeah,
And
there are a lot of
and
conversion. I agreed. When we're talking about images, we typically want them to be on the website in the final size. Most GUI website builders will let you, drag the size of the image to whatever size you want. Don't do that, please. Never do that. Upload the image in the size it needs to be. It'll load much faster, much better that way. And yeah,
right.
compress it, have the latest generation image format. This is a pretty thin homepage, I have to say, John.
Mhm.
I would like to typically see more content, but again, it's tougher to judge too much because the heat map's still running. Um, we do have schema, but just the HVAC business type. A bunch of knows about. We have the social profiles, address, area served. We're going to keep going. So your question is around all these small cities in Virginia. How do you rank for them?
Well, right. And then the focus of making actual service area pages, right? So based on the fact that they're all pretty populated, how do you determine where to draw the line in terms of how many and which ones to choose in order to rank for them?
Yeah. Hopefully this finishes running and we can have a conversation. If it doesn't, then I'll pull up a heat map that I've run historically and we'll just pretend that it's yours. Is this a service area business? I don't see an address here.
It is actually, and that's actually another question that I had. It used to have a address that's actually listed there. It's a home-based business. It had an address before, but when they ended up having a ton of takedowns for other people, it was basically preemptively turned into a service area business so that they didn't get their profile just suspended. But they don't have people coming by there, but they actually have it's basically like a residential with they have a separate pole barn. It's a large, like out in the country, they have a separate pole barn for just the business. So even though they don't have people coming there, they actually do operate a 5,000 square foot facility out of the place as just the business part of it.
Yeah.
So
So in almost all cases, it's going to be easier to rank a visible address.
right.
So especially if you have that address, I would strongly encourage you to add that address back to the GBP. Why is this not coming up? I thought
Now would that trigger revalidation and having a problem with getting suspended for ranking right now?
So adding an address, if it's the same address that was on the GBP before, then the probability of triggering a re-verification is better than even. So still pretty high. If it's a different address than the one that was originally verified, the probability of triggering a re-verification is like 80 or 90%.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, that's the like adding the address back is very likely to trigger it, but I mean, I'd still recommend doing it. Just be ready to re-record the verification video because it's so valuable to have a address on the GBP. Like on my YouTube channel, I didn't because it felt like cheating, but I was tempted to use as a case study a client that we landed. We had them, there's a service area business. They added their address and their average rank position shot up like 7 or 8 numbers in a week. And I was like, oh man, what a great case study. But I didn't use it because like it's all they did was add the address back to it. But that's not atypical. Usually we'll see the average rank position move up 2 or 3 numbers just from adding the address back to it. Even if they have to do a re-verification, it's still almost always worth it. So lead snap
Okay.
is taking forever. I don't know why. So what I'm going to do is I'll talk through a different business, a different heat map, a different rank map. I don't like that they call it a heat map, but that's fine. So let me share. So this is Right Way Driving School. This is obviously not a plumber, but I'm just using as an example of how I would look at it and say, okay, where can this business possibly rank? Because they're in New Jersey. Obviously, New York City is right here. So they're in New Jersey, and there's like a ton of small towns around this part of New Jersey. And we have the same issue, right? So you can see I did the search driving school near me. If I had run this, and they're in Cedar Grove, if I had run this for driving schools Cedar Grove, they're ranked #1 everywhere. Because there aren't any other driving schools in Cedar Grove, New Jersey. Like Cedar Grove is a fairly small town, but it's part of this, sprawling suburbia where all the towns feel the same, even though they all have different names. So then
And
the
they got the
question is,
proximity effect based on where their center point was, right? So,
say it again.
and they got the proximity benefit because of the center point of their location.
Yep, the closer you are to the GBP address, the higher they'll rank. But we can see pretty clearly, right? He goes from 2 to 19 over like a mile here, right? So that's pretty crazy. And if we look at all the guys who are ranked, you can basically see exactly where their GBP is, right?
Right.
So this is the type of pattern that we very often will see. So then the question is, what could I possibly rank for in this area looking at it, right? So when I'm looking at, so I know I'm not going to turn this whole map green. None of these competitors have been able to turn the whole map green. So I know like everything green is not on the cards. That's just not going to happen.
Right.
So one way to estimate it is if I look at the guy who's in #1 in terms of top 3 position, and you can see I've sorted by top 3 position. I don't care what average rank. I sort by top 3 position. Lead Snap is telling me that this guy's at 18%, and that's pretty much as well as we can do, right? But if I look at it, their website isn't like incredible. It's not a huge website, 6 results. So like, okay, the fact that Lead Snap is telling me we can't do any better than this guy, I don't know if I believe it because he only has 6 URLs. So I'm pretty sure we can do better than that guy. So I'm going to ignore this market share. It's still something in testing. And really, what I'm going to be focused on is when I see 4s, 5s, even up to like some of these 10s, 11s, and 12s, I can turn those green, right? I can turn a 4, 5, 6 into a top 3. Google trusts it. Google knows that maybe they provide service in that area, maybe they don't. But Google knows like they're close here, right? If I'm looking over here, I'm never going to try. Like if they're ranked 20th,
forget it.
yeah, and if this client says, "Hey, I really want to rank in Garfield. What can I do to rank in Garfield?" My answer is going to be get a second GBP in Garfield because this GBP ain't going to do it, right?
Right.
Google wants nothing to do with you as soon as you cross this magic line. Whatever is going on with this line, I don't know, but Google has drawn that line and you're never going to cross it. Don't worry about it. So instead, we're going to take these 4, 5s, and 6s and start to build geographical relevance over here, right? So I might build like Mountain View is a different city name. So I might build a, like a driving school in Mountain View near Cedar Grove, right? I still want to have the business's city name in this geographic content. So Google knows I'm saying that my GBP in City Grove services this area in Mountain View. I don't want to just build something that says driving school Mountain View because that's going to be seen as spammy. That's not going to work nearly as well. Okay. Another interesting one here is this Great Peace Meadows. This is just another geographical milestone. Probably not interesting. This looks like it's a pretty low density population, but just for an example, I might do something like driving school near Great Peace Meadows near Cedar Grove, driving school near, what is this? The Passaic River, driving school near the Passaic River, right? I'm just looking for any sort of Essex County Airport would be a great one, but we're already ranking pretty well, so we'll skip it. Mountain Ridge Country Club, we could write one there, right? Driving school near Cedar Grove, Mountain Ridge Country Club, right? I'm just looking for geographical landmarks that Google Maps is showing, and I'm going to write content that basically says this business, even though they're in Cedar Grove, they service that area. I'm also going to put GBP photos. I'm going to drip feed like once a week. And when I geotag those photos, I'm going to try to geotag them to match these same types of locations. And if I do that for a few months, I'm going to turn a lot of these 5s and 6s and 4s into the top 3. And then these 9s, 10s, 8s, they're going to be 5, 6s, and 4s. So I'm going to do it again for these. Again, I'm going to ignore stuff over here. Like I'm never going to touch this over here. Like forget about it. I don't know.
Right.
Does that make sense, John?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So jumping to one other thing that you had brought up earlier and was part of the core principle in the teachings that you had on the basic course was the idea of getting quality backlinks. And one of the things that you profess is getting on the Chamber of Commerce websites. And obviously there's a cost involved in doing that to join the Chamber of Commerce, but it adds a lot of relevance. Something I did notice is that in my local area, I analyzed the backlinks that they provide, and even though they're indexable, they're no follow links, which means you're not actually getting past any SEO juice.
Yeah. So if there are no follow link, then I'm less interested in joining it, to be honest. But a no follow link might still be something I'm interested in. It's still going to help with ChatGPT. And I've seen evidence that it will help your Google Map rank position. Google is a lot more advanced than just link juice. Like it tracks entity mentions, brand mentions. So even Google's algorithm seeing your brand mention come up in the Chamber of Commerce directory, it's still going to be helpful. That being said, since my main goal is Google Maps and not ChatGPT, if the local chamber has no follow links, then I'm going to do typically one of 3 things, right? I'm going to buy it anyway, depending on how competitive the space is, how much money it costs, et cetera, et cetera. My second option is I will call the chamber and ask them if they can remove the no follow tag from my listing. I have about a 50% success rate doing that. Like I
Okay.
like call them and say, hey, I'll join right now if you can remove this no follow tag from my link. A lot of them will just say no problem and remove it because they don't know what that means. And then the third option is I'm going to find another chamber that does just do a simple do follow link and join that chamber instead. And maybe I'll
Right.
join both chambers. But yeah, that's typically how I'll handle something like that. It's not zero value just because Google is a lot more advanced than, the 2017 link juice style SEO.
Well, either way, it does provide an extra alignment with the NAPW also, which from an authoritative source adds a lot of
Exactly.
credibility
Going
to
through
that.
the Google entity search, absolutely agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And then one
All
other thing that I
right.
wanted to add is just a
Oh,
one
sorry,
piece.
we're at the 10 minutes, John. Sorry, man. Is it quick?
It is.
Okay, what do you
actually,
got?
it's just something for you to go over and ponder and validate what I'm saying. So when it comes to schema injection, uh, I noticed and back tested that the LLMs actually will not uh, parse any non-native HTML server-side rendering of schema injection. So if you're doing any kind of JavaScript injection or client-side injection, it will not see it. So something for you to ponder.
Perfect. Yeah. Usually when we're doing schema, if we can't do it in the head or anything like that, we'll just put like a custom HTML block and drop the JSON LD code in the custom HTML block. And we've seen that the LLMs can see that and recognize it, as can Google just fine. I don't know. I'm not a developer, so I don't really know what JavaScript schema server side. I'm not a developer, but anyway, I appreciate the heads up, John. Thank you. All
Cool.
right,
Thanks for
let's see.
having me
Do
up.
we have? I just looked and couldn't find him. John R. Is John R. here? Let me know in the chat if you're here. John R. says he's here, so I guess I just missed him when I was trying. All these names, it's hard to find. There's John R. Excellent. John R. looks like he's in space or something. So let me hit unmute for Mr. John R. There you go, John. How are you?
Pretty good. Yeah. Sorry I can't show my face because I'm working, but
No
yeah, how you doing
worries.
today?
What you got for me, man? And don't ask me a question that's going to require a running a rank map. The one for the other John's question is still running with no luck. So I'm going to assume no rank maps for the rest of the call, which no problem. We'll keep going. What you got?
Hopefully not. So just to give you a little context, I basically do work for a couple agencies, and one of them gave me this site that I'm putting in the chat. And so they want to rank for commercial roofing, even though right now it doesn't look like it's geared toward that. So I just wanted to get, I guess, your thoughts on how you would reframe this to rank for commercial roofing.
Perfect. All right. Let me see. Oh, I can share real quick. Now, the first thing I love doing is running a rank map, and I'm not going to be able to do that. So we'll just go blind, but take everything I say with a giant grain of salt, because without a rank map, it's tough to know for sure. All
Hmm.
right, so I searched for your phone number. I grabbed your phone number here, um, and I didn't get your GBP. So is that is this is your does your GBP have a different phone number?
Um, I'm not sure to be honest
There's
with you,
your GBP, and no, that is near me. That's not near you. What's your address?
because I know
Denver.
they use tracking phone numbers.
Which is fine.
So,
The
oh,
Washington,
so it is.
Colorado. Is that it? North Washington?
No, so it is a different phone number. So this is the phone number on the GBP. I just put it in
Oh,
the
but
chat.
this is the business, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So that's interesting. So that's funny. So Google says that you're in North Washington. Your address is Denver. No problem. Okay. So yeah. So that's. I mean, not your phone number should match like that. Like you should have your phone number match. That's not what you're asking about though. But make your phone number match. It should match.
Oh,
72044. Yeah, that's it. It should match. Um,
quick
okay.
question regarding that. So like
Yep.
I guess one of their practices is they typically have the existing number in the GBP and then they'll make the primary tracking phone number so that they can track the phone calls.
Which is fine, but then I would make this phone number also the tracking phone number.
Okay, so that should be updated as well. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, just the phone number really should match. And if we run the local bit, or if we run and take a look at the schema, oh, there's no local business schema. We do have web page schema. Fine. So, I mean, no local business schema. You should add that, and it should be the matching phone number. Um, no problem. But okay. Um, so the title tag is not great. Your Denver Metro remodeling specialists. Oh, so they're not even targeting roofing on their homepage right now.
No.
Like this just looks like they're looking for remodeling jobs.
Yes. So that's why I was like, huh, that's kind of interesting that they want to veer off to just mainly doing commercial roofing now.
Yeah. So obviously I can't do it right now, but for a question like that, like, okay, I want to change what we're targeting and target this other thing. Great. We can do that. But I always would want to, before making those changes, just okay, what are they currently ranking for the current goals, right? So I would run a handful of rank maps around like remodeling Denver, interior remodeling Denver, exterior remodeling Denver, general contractor Denver, just a bunch of terms like that, just to see how are they currently ranking. Because if we go in, say they're ranking really well for those types of terms, and we go in and we change it to roofing contractor and we make the whole landing page website talk about commercial roofing, any ranking they had for all these other categories is going to go away.
Hmm.
You know what
Gotcha.
I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd always want to make sure the client understands because, a client can come and say, hey, I want to rank for commercial roofing. Can you make that happen? And then you say, sure. And you change everything to focus on commercial roofing. And then they lose all of the calls that they were getting for bathroom remodels. And then they might be really mad because they didn't realize that they're going to lose all those other calls if we went as fast as possible to get the new calls. So that's the first thing is just, hey, how many calls are they getting? What are they currently ranking for? And make sure we're on the same page that if we make all of these changes, they're likely to lose a lot of what they're currently ranking for. Beyond that, if they really only truly care about commercial roofing, then yeah, here, and I can share again. Their hero image should not be a private residence. If I were looking for a commercial roofing service and I saw this, then this does not look like a commercial roofing service. You'd want to make sure this is a place where I would probably retheme. So roofing contractor is your primary category. That makes sense. So then we'd want to make sure roofing contractor was in your H1 tag, and currently it is not. It's roofing contractor also is currently not in your title tag. Um, but if you are truly only interested in commercial roofing, then I would make sure the word commercial was in your title tag along with roofing contractor. You're clearly targeting Denver. You have a Denver address. It might be a little tough to rank in Denver, if I'm being honest, because Google does not believe you're in Denver. Google says you're in North Washington. Um, so again, I wish my rank maps were working. We could see are people who are in North Washington, who are in your area, are they able to rank in Denver? Without the local rank map, I can't see that, but that would be a big question, right? Like they may not be interested in just commercial roofing if they can only rank in North Washington. I assume that's not a huge suburb of Colorado. Um, but that's something that I would also check. What do their competitors look like? Because right, and I had that. Did I have? Did I close it? Dang it, I closed it. So I had the driving school open and you saw that I was flipping through the competitors. That's what I would be looking for is where's a competitor who is located near North Washington, but actually ranking in Denver. I just want to see it demonstrated that it's possible before I, move everything over and try too hard. Okay.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
then obviously the content for the homepage should basically be rewritten to target commercial roofing, which clearly it isn't, right? It's just targeting general remodeling. Am I
Right.
making
Okay.
sense with all that?
Yeah. Yeah. It makes complete sense. I guess so. The
It's a
other
huge
question,
site, 250 results. Man, I wish this rank map were running. I could, but yeah, 250 is pretty big.
yeah, it's mainly like a lot of blog posts and service area pages that they have. One other question I had though is, so I know you were saying earlier the header tag don't really matter that much, I guess. I noticed a lot of their sites have like the header hierarchy is always messed up to where it'll have like H3, H2, H2, and then an H1. Sometimes they don't even have an H1. So in that case, does that matter?
I would definitely make sure that that's fixed for the important pages.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, especially with how big the site is, I wouldn't spend a huge amount of time going through the entire site and trying to fix that. But yeah, for like the GBP landing page, for your core category pages, for your core service pages, I mean, I would try to get that stuff fixed. It should take a developer like an hour or two to fix all of that stuff. It's not hard.
Okay.
Like, there's a difference between it's not critical and don't do it.
Mhm.
Do I make sense?
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, you answered my question, so appreciate it.
Awesome. And look at that. We finished in less than 10 minutes. All right. Who do we have up next? We have Mark. Mark Farrow. Is Mark here? Oh, there's Mark. Hey, Mark.
Yes, I
What you
can.
got, man?
Hey, good, thanks. I've got a client that was part of a franchise who owned his GBP, and he had 40 days or so. So we're in the middle of finishing out his core 30 and building out his website to the specs. And we didn't think we were going to get the GBP, but he got it today from the franchise.
Oh, okay.
So he's changed his company name. He's done a DBA fictitious name, so it's a new brand. So originally we were thinking we were going to have to create a GBP, but I can just rename and re-verify the GBP because it's doing okay in search. Is that recommended? Because I've heard some conflicting thoughts on whether to just rename it and redo the one that's there that's ranking that has some rankings. I know it'll change with the new website and whatnot, but should we start over or use the existing?
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of a reason why I would ever start over.
Okay.
Um, I can't think of a reason why I would ever start over, right? Like Google doesn't like new things. So if you have a GBP that they've given you, especially if it's in the same or even a similar primary category, I'm going to heavily lean toward just changing that name. And yeah, changing the name, you probably have, roughly even odds of triggering a re-verification. So just get your ducks in a row, get ready for the re-verification, get your signage, business cards, your documentation paperwork so that you can record that video straight away. Because I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't have a GBP, you're going to have to record that video anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were ready. So cool.
Yeah. So I mean, if they're ranking decently well, I mean, I truly cannot think of a single reason why you would be advised to not just use the existing GBP.
Yeah, there's a rank map right there for it. It's a share link, so you don't have to run it.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty. What's over on here on the east? Is this where all the population lives? But no, I
Yeah,
mean, this is not a bad rank map.
no, it
Yeah,
seems like it has one of those
number
lines.
one in the top three.
Yeah, real good. Twice now, looking in LeadSnap for a couple of different businesses, I've noticed that the number one position doesn't have a website, like you mentioned earlier. And when I look at the reviews, I'm seeing reviews from 4 years ago, and it's got the do you own this business sitting there, right? And I'm wondering if you can kind of verify that maybe no one's managing that page anymore, should you just claim up the page and get rid of it? Like,
Yeah, so it owned this business that used to be a really strong sign that it wasn't claimed. But I have actually seen the, hey, do you own this business appear even with GBPs that are claimed. So let me show, this is kind of funny. Let me show you a quick example with Elite Construction and Roofing where we have, hey, do you own this business? Now, it's pretty clear that this is already claimed. I mean, right, John? You've claimed Elite Construction and Roofing that we were just talking about this business, but own this business is still there. That used to be a sign that it wasn't claimed. It just isn't anymore. Google just shows that sometimes. I don't know why. Google does weird things. Google does Google things sometimes, right? So
yeah,
that's not a very good sign that, hey, this is, I can just claim it real quick. But beyond that, like, oh yeah, someone else so anyway, beyond that, when GBP is ranking with no website attached to it, like that's just a sign, hey, maybe they created that GBP 15 years ago. What they were one of the first ones to create it, so they started ranking, and since then they've just provided excellent goal completion, right? And I've had this conversation with other people in the SEO space, and whenever I make the claim that like, hey, Google is looking at whether you're answering the phone and whether they have to call other businesses in the area, and if they don't have to call other businesses, that's a good sign and you will hold your higher rank position longer. I get that, like it's a pretty common complaint. They'll say something like, well, Google can't see if you're making a call or if you're answering the phone. And it's just, well, yes, they can. Are you forgetting that Google owns Android? Like they didn't develop Android out of the goodness of their heart. And in the summer of 24, they had that massive leak where they leaked all of the attribute data for the Google search algorithm. And there was a ton of attribute data coming from Chrome and Android, which of course makes sense. Why else would Google create Chrome and Android if not to make their search algorithm better, right? They didn't create Android and give it to Samsung and all these other mobile phone manufacturers out of the goodness of their heart to try to make the world a better place, right? Big trillion-dollar companies don't pull that kind of shit anymore. They're in it for the money. And
Yeah.
the money in their case is to make the algorithm better. So a GBP that's ranking really well with no website attached to it, that just means they're doing a great job of providing goal completion.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you try to hit own this business, it probably won't work. Maybe it will. And sure, in that case, go in there and change the phone number to yours, like whatever. But it probably won't work. And you mentioned the reviews. It's really weird, right? Reviews are not a significant rank factor on Google Maps. They are a huge rank factor for LLMs, ChatGPT in particular, and they're a huge rank factor for the Google AI overview. But what's wild about the Google AI overview, so if you search for something like Chicago plumber, you're going to get the map. If you search for something like recommend a good plumber in Chicago, then you typically won't get the map. You'll get the AI overview and it will recommend 3 businesses. Pretty often, the businesses the AI overview recommends are different from the businesses in the map.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And we looked at hundreds of them trying to figure out what was driving the Google AI overview to recommend the specific businesses that it was. And the only thing we could find in common, it wasn't citations, it wasn't schema. The only thing we could find in common was the businesses that the Google AI overview was recommending had excellent Yelp review profiles, which is very funny because very few people, almost no one, actually tries to build reviews on Yelp. So, in my opinion, I've thought this for a while, Yelp is one of the best places to go to actually find real people reviews. Because if somebody is pissed off at your business, they're typically going to go and leave bad reviews everywhere they can find it. But they'll only typically leave good reviews where you're asking for good reviews, right? So, anyway,
Yeah.
so the Google
Okay.
AI overview loves Yelp, but it doesn't actually pay much attention to the Google reviews itself. So Google reviews, not important for ranking. I have seen more like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of examples of businesses with 5,000 reviews that are in the 10th position when, the top 3 players have 50, right?
Yeah.
Review quality, quantity, not very important to rank. It is obviously very important once you're ranking to drive the conversion, but not very important to actually rank. Other
Okay,
questions,
very good.
Mark?
Yeah, I've just got one more. My citations on LeadSnap are coming in. It's only been, I think I'm, 3 weeks in to a couple of the orders I put in. And so, the Bing page, a lot of the key pages at the top there aren't really coming in yet as live links. And I'm wondering if we do turn it off before the 30-day mark, so we don't have to pay for month 2 and ongoing, do you still think that they're in the queue to be teed up, or should we let the subscription go for a couple of months until they're all done and then turn it off? Like, anybody have any thoughts on that?
So when you look at the citations in LeadSnap, so the way it's frustrating. I've talked to Patrick about this, but when we look at that, there's the live, submitted, whatever the different categories are. And what's frustrating about it is there are a lot of citations where LeadSnap only has one-way API communication. So what that basically means, with only one-way communication, so LeadSnap will submit and then it will never leave submitted because it only has one-way communication. So live means that it's a two-way communication, and whatever platform has told LeadSnap, hey, the citation is now live. So if it's sitting in submitted, it could be that you have to wait before it goes live, or it could be that it's done and it will never leave submitted, right? So I don't like the language of submitted. And also the action required, there are a bunch of citations that show up as action required that don't actually have any action required. So that's also not ideal, obviously. But you can actually check the citation source to see. But something like Apple Maps and Bing, those should show up as like synced. And you should be able to hit the preview and then go to the Bing for Business listing or the Apple Maps listing. Yeah, and I don't know what happens if you cancel before those get live. I don't think it would keep pushing them because why would it, right? If you're not paying for it anymore.
Yeah. Well, might let it ride for a little bit. The Apple Maps have been coming in right away, but the Bing has been taking longer. And then I guess I'll just go to the platform and search and see if I can find them. Really
Yeah, and
good.
you can always ask the LeadSnap support. They're usually pretty quick at responding, in my experience.
Yeah,
Awesome. All right.
thanks.
So Claudia Perez Cordero. Are you still here, Claudia? Claudia. I don't see Claudia. All right, moving on. Derek Dirks. Derek, how are you, man? Are you still here? Oh, there's Derek. He's muted. Unmute. Are you there, Derek?
Yep, I'm here.
Hey,
I'm good
man.
though.
You got a
I'll see you
question? What's
tomorrow.
going on?
No, I just came on to listen today.
All
I'll see
right.
you
Sounds
tomorrow.
well, you were one of the top 10. So cool. I guess people will be happy about that. All right. Let's go with Henrik. There's Henrik. What you got, man? Asked to unmute. You should be able to unmute. In the lower left, you should be able to.
Yes, I got you now. Yeah, can you hear me?
I sure can, Henrik.
Okay. So, my website here, I need to know how good is your Danish?
Very bad. My Danish is
Oh,
very bad.
really?
I know it's a surprise.
Yeah, I thought everybody spoke Danish. So
It's my third language, so not great.
okay. There you go.
Oh, okay. There we go. Here we
Yeah,
go.
if you open it in Chrome, it should be able to auto-translate.
Yep, I see it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Rengorning Mittig. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that we're a cleaning service.
All right.
And please do not try to read our schema because I just did and found out there was some horrible stuff. I don't know if this is costing us our rankings.
All right. Google translated it, so we got a house cleaning service.
Yeah.
All right. So, have you run a local rank map?
Yep. Yeah, I have local dominator.
Local dominator. Do you have a screenshot or anything like that of that you could share this with what that looks like? I wish
Yeah.
LeadSnap were working better.
Okay. Let me get that for you. So can I just put the screenshot in the
Yeah,
chat?
you should be able to just put it in chat.
Okay. And Here we go.
Oh, look at that. I found it. Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, that's us.
All right. Hey, that's a pretty good looking heap. That's a pretty good looking rank map.
Well, yes and no,
Here, let me
because
share this. Here you go. So you guys can see what we're chatting through. There's his rank map.
yeah.
All right. Okay, so you said yes. Oh no, I closed it. Ugh. Ah, I could. All right. Why yes and no? I mean that rank map looks pretty good. What are we trying to accomplish here?
The problem is if people search for cleaning on their phone, on a smartphone, it will actually only show number 1 and 2, meaning that if you're number 3 like we are basically fucked unless we can get people to scroll.
Yeah,
So
no one scrolls. Is
normally,
that unique to Danish that you only
no,
get the top two?
no, but that's because there's only room for the top 2 in your screen in a normal smartphone, and typically Google also show a sponsored link up in the top. So no,
So I mean, I just did a search on my phone and I can see all three, but scrolling down to see the third one, that is easy. That's not a big deal. The challenge is there's this show more. Let me see.
yeah,
I don't know. I'll try to see if let's see if this will work. Can
yeah, I got it. Yeah,
Yeah, so this show more is a button that no one ever pushes, but
I
you do
know.
see all of the top three. And yeah, that like when it loads for me, I see all three. But even if it didn't, like having to come down a little bit, that's
Yeah,
not a big deal, right? That's not a big deal. We've seen over the years, we see a very, very small click-through rate, call rate difference between being ranked number one, number two, and number three.
okay,
Generally, the difference between one, two, and three is explained by the review quality and quantity, and not whether they're in first, second, or third place.
okay.
Um, but yeah, so
So, so
as
why do
long
you
as you're in the
think?
top three, you look pretty good. I see your concern though, because you're basically number three everywhere.
Yep. And and why do you think number 1 and 2 is number 1 and 2?
I mean, we don't do deep competitive analysis because it's, Google makes this decision based on its trillions and trillions of data points.
Yeah,
Um, but if I'm looking at this rank map and the
yeah,
question is, hey, I want to get from three to two, I'd be like, maybe we focus on turning those fours and fives into threes.
yeah,
That's a lot more exciting to me. But in either case, the answer is usually going to be the same. Um, Showing a bunch of threes everywhere, right? So one, that's a good thing. Google trusts that your business does cleaning. Google trusts that you do business in those areas. It
yeah.
just trusts the other two a little bit more, right?
Okay. Yeah,
So we might focus on, not might. So the focus would be on how do we build just that little bit more trust with Google's algorithm.
yeah,
So usually the best success that we've had is those high trust local links. So there's the prompt in the modern SEO group. It's the local offsite SEO analysis. So if you
yep,
run that prompt, ChatGPT or Claude will go out and find the local charities, local events that will link back to your website if you
yeah,
sponsor them. Those are incredibly powerful links.
yeah,
Beyond that, all those fours, that's where I'm going to start just cranking out content based on those geographies, right? Like if I'm number four, that means I can be number three. I just need to convince Google that I actually do this service at that location. So I'm going to start saying, like, producing content, like, cleaning services near Silkeborg. Is that
yep,
the city? Cleaning services near Silkeborg, and then I'll use Lisbro.
yep.
Uh, or cleaning services Silkberg Funder or Lena or all of these different cities where where you're number 4. I'm just going
Yep.
to start producing content that talks about how, hey, your cleaners will happily travel from Silkborg to that place and do the cleaning.
Okay.
And then we'd source links to that. We'd link those pages back to your homepage and go through that to build up that geographic relevance, just to
Yeah.
convince Google, hey, I know that, we're not in that city, but I will drive to that city happily.
Yeah. You said something about map embed on the website
Yeah.
that Google shows you how to do. I'm not sure we've done that correctly.
You have one. If I look at your
But it's
footer, it looks like you have one.
yeah, I do, but it's just made with Elementor. It's not the code that Google somehow.
And this isn't a full map embed. This looks like it's an image with a link, right?
It's not. I think if you view the larger map, it should work. But I was just wondering, is there a correct way to embed a map?
Yes. Yes, there is.
Okay. How do we do that?
Let me show you. I have to come in here, show more accounts, that account, do another search, click there. And I'm going to grab my old driving school. Okay, here we go. So it's very, very fast. And I learned how to do this. There's a support.google document that says it. So if we hit share, we can copy the share link and then we can just embed that.
Okay.
Like it's really, any reasonable developer should be able to do it very quickly.
Okay. So simply embed the share link.
Yeah, it should be very easy to just generate that embed code and put it in there.
Okay. So simply just take the share link and embed that.
Yeah, you have to generate some code that goes around it, also, but yeah.
Okay. I'll try to get my coder to fix it tomorrow. And also, what about in the whole of Denmark, we have like 10K searches for cleaning every month, but only 210 of them are from Silkeborg, which is the town where we are. So how do we rank local on a nationwide word?
Right. Remember, proximity is a massive part of Google's local maps algorithm.
Yep.
So the short version of the answer, how do we rank nationally, is that you can't. Right?
Yeah,
Google,
we don't want. We want to rank locally.
right. So sorry, what was the question?
The question was, how do we rank locally on a nationwide search?
Right. So that, yes. So that, I mean, the answer is the same, right? Like, because proximity is an important rank factor for the top 3 in local search, at some point you're just going to be too far away that you're just not going to be able to build enough trust and relevance to convince Google that you're the business to recommend at that level of distance. So the real answer of how to rank beyond these local areas, it's one of the reasons that there's no real rank tool that will allow you to run much bigger than, a couple 100 miles per side, just because it doesn't make any sense to run bigger than that because proximity is so important. So beyond that, it's really just got to be around having multiple GBPs.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. So so we are going to try to do that, but what You said something in the video I just joined yesterday. You said something about the core 30.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
yes, and we have for us we have three main categories that are open to us
Oh,
in
hold on. We'll get back to that 1 second. I just want to show you. So this is your GBP, and I'm
yep,
on the Google Maps, and I
yep,
looked it up, right? This is what I was
yep.
looking for. And somebody in the chat said this, so thank you to that person. But if I hit share, then I get embed a map, and then this is my code. So if I copy this code is the embed code for embedding this GBP.
Ah, okay. I will definitely do that tomorrow.
Yeah, and this is HTML. You can see it's an iframe, and it's
Yep,
just going to the Google Maps, finding the GBP, and then hitting this share, and
yep.
then embed map. Yes.
Got it.
So sorry. Thank you to bsims.
eSIMs. Yeah,
All right.
got that.
Yes. Back to your
Okay.
question, Henri.
Okay. So my thing was that we have like three categories open to us. We cannot choose. So there's like cleaning, and there's cleaning service, and there is window polishing, and that's the three open to us.
Okay.
So do we take all three?
Yeah. So we'll typically target 3 or 4 categories, and then we want to see 20 or 30 services. That being said, right? When I talk about the
430.
core 30, the focus on the core 30 is to build topical relevance. Okay.
Okay.
So what we're trying to do with the core 30 is convince Google that your business provides that service, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
if I look at your rank map, which you've so kindly shared with us,
Yeah.
you don't need topical relevance,
Okay.
right? Half of your rank map is green already, and the other half of it is 4 and 5. Google already knows that you provide cleaning, right?
Yeah.
So if you came to me as a client and you said, "Hey, help me do SEO. I want to rank more in my rank map. I want it to be greener." I would not do the core 30 for you. You don't need it. You already
Okay.
have the topical relevance. I
Got it.
would start by producing the geographic relevance to start to turn the north side of your map green, just by producing content that tells Google, "Hey, I will happily drive to Ebstrup or
Yep.
Lemming to clean
Yep.
houses."
Yes. And how much would you say the schema would relate to that?
So the schema, if you implement like absolutely 100% perfect schema, you might see a small impact on the rank map. Like schema is helpful. Schema is more helpful to ChatGPT because ChatGPT is not as good at crawling the interwebs as Google is, right? Google was built from the ground up to crawl the internet.
Yeah.
ChatGPT was built with an offline data set, and the
Yep.
ability to crawl was added later. It's not a core skill set of ChatGPT. And if you've
Got it.
ever used like the agent mode for any of the LLMs, they're
Yeah.
so slow. So the way I think about schema, it's like if you're moving houses, right? You put all of your belongings in moving boxes. You don't need to label the boxes. You could shuffle through each box to figure out what room it should go in. But
Okay.
schema is the box label, and it's going to
Okay.
dramatically help ChatGPT and other LLMs figure out your website and the website structure.
Yep.
Plus, schema is something that takes 10 minutes to do correctly,
Yeah.
especially on the important pages. We'll always make sure to do schema, but don't I'm not saying if you implement schema, your map is going to be all twos. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't usually have a huge impact on Google Maps, but it's still just something that should be done correctly because it's easy, it's fast, and you only have to do it once.
Got it. So final question. We are in the town of Silkeborg. So therefore, our main service keyword is cleaning in Silkeborg. The thing is, we naturally made a sub page, which is our domain, and then / cleaning Silkeborg. But we are ranking with the main page, with the main domain for that term. So my question is, would you change the main website, so so that it ranked like the title and the meta description and so on.
Right. So when we're talking, so you're talking about individual URLs ranking, like below the
Yeah.
maps?
But the one that I just gave you, the URL that I just gave you, the front page,
Yep.
it's actually ranking for cleaning in Silkeborg.
Okay.
So would you delete the subpage to avoid cannibalization?
No. So when we
No.
think about local SEO,
Okay.
right, everything we're trying to do in local SEO is rank the GBP higher. I
Yeah.
don't care about duplicate content issues. I don't care about cannibalization issues. Those are real issues, but those are real issues when I'm trying to rank a website organically, like an
Yeah.
individual URL
Yeah.
below the map results. With local search, I'm not trying to do that. You know, depending on the actual region and how the people behave, something like 60 to 80% of the
Yep.
traffic of the calls go to the map. 5 to 10% go to the ads. So the organic listings, you know, they're looking at maybe 10 to 20% of the total traffic, best case. And a
Yeah.
third of that is going to go to the number one ranked one, and it drops very quickly after that. So we're really just playing for peanuts when we look at the organic rankings. And I know people with rank and rent, and they don't have GBPs, they just go organically, and they need thousands of websites that are ranking organically to generate any meaningful call volume. Like organic
Right.
just delivers so few calls. We almost always basically ignore it when we're
Yeah.
looking at local SEO. So the short answer is I don't track organic rankings. I don't care about organic rankings. The only thing I look at and care about is what my map looks like. And your map, Henrik, looks good. I like your
Okay.
map.
So if I go into if I upgrade to the new to the 198 group, how many of these meetings do we get then?
I do this weekly in the pro group, not monthly.
Ah, okay, cool.
I just
So
don't have the energy to do this type of meeting every month or
yeah,
every week for this audience. But okay, so that Enric was. Let me pull it up. Were you our 10th? I think you were our 10th. So just to remind everyone, I know some of you weren't here. Let me know in the school group what you thought about this format. Where instead of just taking a bunch of relatively short questions, we did these like longer deep dives. And the way I decided which questions to take was the first 10 people who joined, they got 10 minutes each. And I talked about this at the very beginning. If you weren't here at the beginning and missed it, I apologize. But that's how we structured it. Just the first 10 people who joined, we did deep dives. Hopefully, other people thought that was valuable. Rather than, you know, answering a dozen questions with 2 minutes each, answering 10 questions where there's a lot more depth, looking at websites, looking at title tags, metas, et cetera, et cetera. Let me know in the school group if you liked this format or if you thought this format was a stupid waste of time. Let me know. If enough people really like this, we can do it again next month. If people hated it, then we can go back to the other format next month. But that being said, we're at 2 hours. So I am going to call it. Our next meeting is going to be on November 3rd at 1 p.m. Central. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. Thank you very much for coming. If I didn't get your question, I apologize. Post it in the school group. I'll try to answer all the questions there in the school group. Send me a message. I'll see it if you send me a message. And yeah, thank you very much for coming. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. We'll talk to you guys next month.